Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Lawfolds. This is episode number 46. Can you believe it? 46 episodes. Wow. All right, so we have a couple of different things going on here on the farm today. The first thing that we have doing is we have a hired worker helping us out here in field number 28. They are just cultivating in the oilseed radish to get this field ready to plant sunflowers on it. I believe that's what we're going to do. And so they are doing that for us to help us out, and then we will get them seeding that field in due course as well. So one thing that we had happen that to be quite honest, I did not realize happened. And let me just stop here, and I will bring up the animal menu here. Look at all those sheep. 288 head of sheep on our farm. So you might remember I mentioned a few episodes ago, or I was talking about it a few episodes ago, about how much wool that we had. And now remember, the seasons mod does control or limit, I should say, the production of wool outside of the spring and maybe summer season. So we basically didn't have any wool produced in the fall or the winter time frame, which kind of makes sense because obviously you need your sheep to stay warm in the cold Scottish winters. And so when we rolled around to the second year for this series, which we did several episodes ago, we are in late spring, so game day 3 of the second year around. I started noticing the fact that every time I turned around, I needed to come up here to the sheep farm and clear the area of all the wool pallets that had been spawning, that had basically been stacking up. And I mentioned it, on the video, and my good buddy Pharmer Klein had messaged me about it, and we were sort of talking, and I guess I realized that I hadn't realized, I should say, I had not realized just how many sheep that we actually had. And well, we've got 288, as I said. Now, I don't know if that's normal to have that. Now, obviously, just like the creation of wool or the production of wool, our sheep do not breed except in the spring. So we've had a whole lot of newborn sheep born, and so again, sort of like I've talked about with Pine Cove Farm, and even with this map, with the fact that we really didn't have, our winter crop really didn't come in when I sort of thought that it might come in. And I'm wondering if maybe some of this is due to the fact that we've updated the seasons mod several times on this game save, and just maybe something has gotten a little bit out of whack, so to speak, and we've had, because of that, because of the update of the seasons mod, probably I would say 4 or 5 times since we've been on this game save, and the same more or less applies for Pine Cove Farm as well, that maybe something has just got a bit haywire, and that's why we've got so much wool being produced. Now, I don't think wool is being produced right now. The last time I played this map, which was probably 4 days ago, we were still getting the occasional warning that would pop up that would basically say no more room to spawn wool. Yet I would come here and I would take a look at it, and basically you can see there where our wool spawns. It's just right there next to the trailer, and there would be nothing there. So I don't know, maybe it has something to do with the fact that we have all of that wool sitting over there. So obviously we've got a huge crop of not only wool but also sheep that we can sell. And so yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to do today, at least for a portion of this episode, is we are going to, let's see, 14, we can put 14 sheep in here. We will confirm that, and our 14 sheep will appear into the Fendt tractor and the tipper, or I'm sorry, the trailer there. And let's just kind of do this right quick before we get started here. We'll kind of do that to tell the storyline. We'll get rid of that, and off we go. All right. So, naturally, it's not something that I had kept an eye on every single day. I look at the animal menu, fair enough, and I do that every single time that I play the game, just to look to see what we need, when we need to do it, etc. But to be honest, I had not noticed the explosion of our sheep population. So we have, like I said, we have quite a few sheep, and we're going to sell those. I'm not kind of sure what kind of price we will get for these, but I'm sure it will be fair, and we will sell some of our sheep, and then most likely off camera I will sell quite a bit more. And maybe I should have been more proactively watching the number. Of course, as I've said many times, wool is the cash crop for Farm Sim 17. It is what silage was, and what maybe forestry was in Farm Sim 15. You could get just sort of silly rich on. Let's see, which way do we want to go? Let's go this way. You could get sort of silly rich really quick on selling silage and selling lumber and such in Farm Sim 15. Well, you can kind of do that with wool as well. And so with the maps, and this is really the longest that I have played any given map in Farm Sim 17. And so, I mean, we're coming on, what did I say? This was episode 46. So 46 episodes into this series. We're going for 2 full seasons. And quite honestly, as I said before, this is the longest that we've played any given map in Farm Sim 17. And I've just basically let the numbers get away from me. But I wasn't really that concerned about it because, again, it makes us good money. And we did our due diligence last spring and summer and even early fall to make sure that we had enough. See, there's that error. No more space to place new pallets of wool at the sheep farm. So you guys just saw that there was nothing there. But again, maybe there's a limit to how many wool pallets we can have in the vicinity. So I will probably sell some of that stuff off camera as well, since we've already done the selling of wool pallets on this map once. I won't make you work through that again. But again, we did really well with making sure that we had plenty of hay, and we've done a good job of keeping them at their maximum productivity level throughout the first year, and we've done well at doing that same thing now that we're into late spring. And quite honest, I mean, they've been producing the wool, and we've had the room to store it, and I was just kind of waiting for a great demand and kind of cash in on that. But might try to remove some of that just to see if maybe there is a space limitation of some sort. I don't know, or maybe something else has kind of gotten out of sync because of the fact that we have sort of updated the mod many times on the same game save. So one of the things that I still don't know exactly when the seasons mod is going to come out of the beta work in progress type function, and who knows, maybe the seasons mod will be similar to courseplay, and that is that it will always be in beta mode, because it will always be in a state of change, in a state of being modified, of being obviously developed and everything. But whenever it is generally released to everyone, I don't know when that date is. But one of the things that I have noticed is that the modding team has been a little bit slower at releasing updates to us, so that kind of maybe tells me that things are becoming a little more stable with the mod, which obviously is a good thing. And so let's just pull in here like this. I think I had a little bit of confusion the last time that I tried to when I tried to buy animals here, as far as what we had to do. So we will see if we can get that menu. Open animal dialogue, and we're going to sell all of these little guys, 14 of them. That's $24,000. Gotta love it. Gotta love it right there. Okay, so again, maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe things have gotten out of sync and we're getting these odd growth patterns and such, but I don't know. So, but one thing I wanted to mention, and I've actually sort of been waiting until I got back around to Lawfolds to really talk about this, but for those of my my true long-term fans that have basically been watching me from the very early days of my channel, maybe even including some of you that started watching me and following me and subscribed to me back in even the FS15 days when I was doing Paradise Hills. But you remember that when I started playing Farm Sim 17 and we sort of restarted the Stevie's Goldcrest Valley edit of that map, I started playing with a what I sort of labeled or dubbed as a manual approach to seasonal farming. Now, honest to God, folks, I had no idea the seasons mod was even in anybody's thought processes, in anybody's dreams, that anyone had actually even began coding this mod. This was just simply something that I thought, okay, well, that would be really cool to, even though it would have to be a manual approach, so it would take a lot of manual effort to do it, but it would be cool to sort of bring about seasonal farming and thinking about how you do things and basically structuring it and controlling it. There was a manual sort of, well, was it really manual? Well, it was manual. There was a seasons mod that came out, not the seasons mod that we're running now, but it showed the season in the HUD in the upper right hand corner. It really didn't do anything. It didn't control anything in the game. We did all that through our imagination, etc. And so I had done some research based on some university websites like the University of Oklahoma, the University of Nebraska, some agricultural information that I found from the state of Texas and Colorado and a few other places, and sort of looked at when crops were generally planted or could be planted. And of course, it's kind of a rolling window, and my grandfather was a farmer. And he, of course, I never met my grandfather. My grandfather passed away when I was about a year old, I guess. So the only thing that I remember is seeing photographs of myself and him. But he was a farmer, a lifelong farmer. And he, according to my dad, my grandfather basically lived and died by the Farmer's Almanac. I mean, that was the Farmer's Bible. And if you're not from the U.S., maybe you're not familiar with the Farmer's Almanac, but it basically is a book, a publication that dates back a long time ago. I don't know the precise history of the Farmer's Almanac, but I know it's been around for quite a long time. Maybe even 100 years, and it was basically just based on averages and such. And so farmers back then would use this as a guidebook, as sort of their farming Bible that would tell them when to plant and such. So anyway, I used modern day information, again, from many like university type websites. Obviously, the state of Nebraska, University of Nebraska is a big agricultural type school, among other things. And I used this information to put together sort of a spreadsheet that I used, and again, it was all manual, it was all manual process, slowed the growth cycles down. I basically incorporated the three game day per season, all that kind of stuff, and determine, sort of when stuff could be planted and when things could expect to be harvested, and so on and so forth. And so the thing that was quite sort of interesting about this whole thing was in relation to, and you guys know I can't back and talk, so I'm going to just be quiet here for a second. All right, so let's load up another 14 or so sheep, and don't worry, folks. Don't tune out just yet. I'm not gonna do this all episode. We will. I don't know if we will do anything else, but I'm not going to bore you with hauling sheep back and forth the entire episode. But we will go ahead and jump out and close the gate, because this will be the last load that we take, and then I will finish telling you my story about my manual approach to seasonal farming. So I did this research, and again, looking sort of specifically at the general idea of winter crops. And what I found out was that in sort of the state of Texas and Oklahoma and maybe Kansas and Nebraska, sort of, the Midwestern region, winter crops, which would consist of winter barley, winter wheat, and winter canola, could be planted, around X range of time, and expected harvest would be around X range of time. And so, as an example, in my home state of Texas, one could expect to plant a winter crop of, say, wheat or barley in the September time frame, and that might be available to harvest maybe in late May or very early June. Well, unfortunately, it appears that the Seasons mod, which we know and love, that I'm now using in the game, which is a very sophisticated mod, which does everything from controlling the animals, as we have talked about extensively. It controls the plant growth. It controls, basically everything. If you have conditions such as the soil is too cold, it will kill off the crops. If we have rain, which I'm nervous about the upcoming episodes on Pine Cove Farm getting into the late fall season, because I'm not sure how much crop's going to be available to harvest, and we've got rain in the forecast, etc., etc. How that Seasons mod controls that and prevents you from doing things, and that's all cool, because obviously in the real world that's what we would experience as well. And so but it doesn't seem to. And of course, there's a little bit of tweaking that we can do with the Seasons mod as far as geographical location. We can put in a latitude, longitude coordinate and sort of focus it on a given area. So, for example, with Pine Cove Farm, I did sort of use Colorado as the geographical location for the operation, but I'm not seeing the same sort of in here. I think I left it as default. I'm not sure if I actually changed it to Scotland, but I think by default the coordinates are somewhere within the UK or European region. So we're not too far off, is what I guess is what I'm trying to say, as far as what we would expect our weather and stuff to be. But so here we are. We're late spring, and we're nowhere near basically being ready to do any sort of harvest for anything that we planted in the fall that we classified as a winter crop. Case in point was, as you know, just from the previous episode here on Lawfolds, so that would be episode number 45, I believe it was. We just started getting a little bit of growth coming out of the soil with one of our either our wheat or our barley crop, and we hadn't seen that before. So I'm not really expecting to be able to harvest a our winter, what we classify as winter wheat, barley, or canola, which we, by the way, we planted all three of those to be classified as winter crops. I'm not anticipating that we're going to be able to really harvest those much earlier than what we would have been able to have harvested those if we planted them in the spring. But I suppose the value add, and of course, you know, the mod is doing a whole lot. I mean, there's so much that it is doing that we would never get from the base game. So we have to be happy about that. And I'm not, trust me, if you guys, if the Seasons Mod developers team, developing team is watching, I'm not complaining at all. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just basically talking in very general terms here. But I suppose if there's any sort of silver lining to any of this, is that at the very least, another $24,000 here, at the very least, it has helped to take a little bit of the workload off of us. So we've managed to, and I don't know, I can't remember just off the top of my head how many fields we actually own nowadays here on this map, but it has basically taken a little bit of that workload off. So if we, in which we did, we planted a winter canola, a winter wheat, and a winter barley, that those are three fields that at least we were able to plant and fertilize and everything in the fall time frame, that we didn't have to necessarily worry about planting and fertilizing and such in the spring time frame. So it's helped to offset that workload, and I suppose that is obviously one way that we can look at that. So but certainly I'm not complaining whatsoever at all with the development of the mod. Maybe, you know, that's something that can be considered for a phase 2, or, you know, some later stage of development that we could maybe expect to, based on geographical location. Because again, you take some farms like in Texas and Oklahoma, for example, you know, the winters are not necessarily that bad. So it's not like Colorado, for example, or Montana, or places like that where maybe, you know, you would not expect to get a winter crop to be available to harvest earlier in the following season. But maybe that's something that can be worked towards, and just make things all the much better. I did go out, I had somebody ask, leave a comment, and I'm just kind of pulling this information from memory, and I'm not actually looking at my my YouTube comments on my videos, but I did have somebody ask me if I had heard anything about soil mod. And so you guys know I've talked about it just very briefly. Reefy 1952, my good friend Mike, had mentioned on his channel a week or so ago during an episode that I was watching on his channel that Decker, who is the mod developer behind the soil mod, was sort of on again, off again. You know, is it going to make it to Farm Sim 17? In the early stages of FS17 coming out, that answer was yes, and then maybe it kind of went to maybe no. I believe he's involved in cattle and crops as well, perhaps. But anyway, it appears that the soil mod, and I've told you this all before, but for those of you who are new to the channel that haven't necessarily gone back and listened to the entire catalog of 46 episodes on Lawfolds, that basically the Seasons mod development team and the soil mod developer, developer team. I'm not sure how many people work with him. Maybe he's the only one. But anyway, they are working together. They are talking to each other. Decker occasionally pops into the Slack chat from what I understand. Well, anyway, sort of a long story short is there is a thread out on the FSUK forums, and that does talk about this. And at this particular point in time, what Decker says, and these are his exact, well, not his exact words, but I'm going to paraphrase, but this is, he is typing this information into the forum. He basically says that he is working on soil mod for FarmSim 17, and that at the present time, because somebody had asked a question of whether he could envision that soil mod and seasons mod can be combined into one single mod, and he said initially, right now, what they're doing is, while they are talking to each other to make sure that they understand more or less the demands of each of those two independent mods, but that more or less they would, at least for now, remain two separate mods. But of course that could change, and maybe it will, maybe it won't. Of course, there's no guarantee that the soil mod will ever make it to FarmSim 17. It really, I suppose, just depends on his schedule and whether or not he can make it work, and how, of course, it would work with the seasons mod is sort of anybody's guess at this particular point in time. But I just thought I would sort of bring you all up to speed on that, so that you've got that information in your knowledge, and can go from there. So clearly, if there's an opportunity for any of us that are currently testing and showcasing the seasons mod, if there's an opportunity to get our hands on the soil mod, I will definitely be doing that. I will definitely raise my hand and say, yes sir, Mr. Decker, I will definitely be more than willing to help test that and showcase that here on this channel. And of course, you guys will all see that. So that will just be incredible. I mean, seasons mod has done for FarmSim 17 what the soil mod did for 15. And the two of them together, man, that is going to just be, if it's all working, if it all works correctly, if the seasons mod continues to do what it does to the game, and if the soil mod does what it did for, obviously, for FarmSim 15, that's going to be a blow your socks off kind of event, situation, and experience. And it will probably be, I would wager to guess to say that it will be somewhat of a challenge to get everything done that needs to be done, because remember how the soil mod really changed the soil composition. You had to worry about pH levels and moisture levels and fertilization levels. And so not only did FarmSim 17 introduce the sort of the 3 times fertilization and stuff like that, it also very much with the soil mod, that would really change the complexity to the point to where not only do we have to worry about making sure that 3 times fertilization, and who knows, maybe the soil mod would actually just sort of override that and sort of make that almost a moot point. But it would definitely create a lot of work to do, I think, with our day-to-day schedules and stuff like that of what we need to do. But I am really looking forward to it. And again, like I said before, I would so volunteer to do that, to take advantage of having the opportunity to play the season or the soil mod with the seasons mod and everything, and see how it all interacts together, and what sort of dilemmas it may cause, or how it changes the game, and what have you. So who really knows? But I will certainly keep my ears and eyes open to it, and of course you know, staying in touch with some of the forums that I frequent and everything. Maybe not on a daily basis, but certainly enough to know that if something were to happen like that, I would certainly know about it. So I'm just going to kind of go around and clean just a little bit of this up. I'm not going to worry about the little tufts over there on the edge. I just kind of want to get these big spots here if I can, and we'll go ahead and raise that up so we can get a little bit more speed. Go down here and take care of these, and I'll start wrapping the episode up here. I know that we're coming up on 30 minutes, and we really haven't done a whole lot, but I've had some information that I wanted to share with you, and you know, it's all part of our farming life. It's all part of our virtual farming life, and you know, I sometimes may say I'm sorry that I may spend a lot of time showcasing something, or I may showcase something, you know, a couple of different times, like with feeding of the animals and stuff like that in a season or in a series. But it's all part of the virtual farming life. And if you guys are if you guys are watching my channel, then you guys must be, enthusiasts of this game. And so you're doing this stuff yourself. So probably really doesn't matter what I'm doing, as long as I'm doing it and sharing the information that I occasionally, tidbits of information that I occasionally get and try to share with you all. I guess it probably doesn't matter. But I will say this before I do close things out. I think I have maybe realized that maybe going 2 full seasons or 2 full years was on this map was maybe a mistake. As much as I love this map, and it really is a thing of beauty, and for those of you that are playing it, I'm sure you will agree with that. I think that maybe from a YouTube channel perspective, I think maybe 2 full seasons has just been too much. I think at this particular point in time, I'm still sort of dedicated to seeing it out, because I sort of have made that commitment. I guess, I suppose I might want to hear your feedback on that. If you are just maybe if you yourselves are kind of tired of seeing me play Lawfolds and would rather me play something else, then certainly let me know that, and perhaps, you know, we start phasing things down and getting off this map and getting onto something else. Obviously, I've already committed to telling you that Pine Cove Farm will just be 1 season, and that will be done. And we're about to get into late fall. The harvest, if we can do any harvest, it will be done, and we'll be in winter, and we'll see what happens with that. But there won't be a full second year. We're going to move on to something different. I've sort of talked about that a couple of times on the Pine Cove map. I'm sort of looking at the 2 Texas maps, either Lone Star or Northwest Texas. Haven't really nailed down a British or a European style map yet, so that's kind of up in the air right now for me. I've got a few ideas I'm kicking around, but we will just kind of see. But anyway, sort of let me know what your thoughts are, because again, we're 46 episodes into this series. I know that I've seen guys do 40 and 50 and 60 episodes, but pretty much all of them talk about the fact that their viewer numbers start to really fall off. And I don't do this specifically for the viewer numbers. Remember, I do this because I enjoy spending time playing this game. I enjoy this hobby. I enjoy interacting with all of you in the way that I have the opportunity to do this. I consider you all friends. I really, really appreciate it, because you guys are slapping that like button, you're subscribing, you're interacting in the comments, you're interacting with me on PCSG and 3 Dudes Gaming Network, and for that, I really, really appreciate that, because it's so cool to get to know you guys. I've gotten to know so many really fantastic people, And as I had announced in the Pineco Farm episode that you saw just yesterday, Farmer Klein, I would like to congratulate Farmer Klein. Aaron is an official Three Dudes Network member now, and he has his own YouTube channel. So I would encourage you to look down below the video screen and check out those the Three Dudes network members, as well as the official Three Dudes founders, which I am a founder. I'm the third dude in the dude pack, I suppose, in the rat pack maybe. But anyway, check out those channels. Check out my friends' channels, guys like Icelandic Pharmer, Reefy1952, Shawnee B, Disco, fantastic people. The Bipolar Prophet, of course. Check out those. Interact with me on PCSG. Interact with me on the Three Dudes Gaming Network. If you have questions, grizzlybearsims@gmail.com is my email address. You can email me directly, or you can private message me through either of those two forums, Three Dudes Gaming Network or PCSG, or email me, however you need to get in contact with me. And just do it, whatever you need to do, smoke signals. I will get back to you. So thank you all so much for watching. When we come back together, we're still going to be on this same game day because we need to get the rest of everything planted, and so we most likely will go ahead and keep our hired worker busy planting. I think we were going to do sunflowers over here in field number 28, and then we'll probably, I don't know, maybe we'll cultivate, or maybe we will see if anything needs to be fertilized. I suppose also we need to keep an eye on our corn field. Field number 9 is corn for the BGA. I was going to do the BGA thing for that, so it's still sort of in the light green. We probably will, obviously harvest it before it goes officially ready to harvest. Cut it when it's green. Do that like we did on Pine Cove. But in any event, I've rambled on long enough here. Let me know, please let me know if you want to continue to see this play out, or if you would rather me try to get things closed out here and go off and do something else. And I probably, I'm not going to destroy the game save. Most likely, if you guys would like to see something different, if you're getting bored with Lawfolds, it's possible that what I could do is sort of gear up and start another map, and then come back and revisit this in a couple of weeks and do a couple of episodes on Lawfolds to revisit, and then get back in with the other maps. So that might be a possibility. So let me know what you guys want to do. As long as I'm playing this game, I'm having fun. Obviously, there's a lot of work that goes into setting a map up and everything, so I don't really want to just play 2 or 3 or 4 episodes on a map. I like to, obviously I want to take advantage of the Seasons mod, because quite honestly, I don't think I could play this game without it. So we are at least looking at, a dozen or so episodes of a series. But if you guys are getting tired with 46 episodes, please let me know. I don't want to just keep hammering on about Lawfolds here. But I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you are not subscribed yet, and please hit the like button if you've liked this episode, and leave a comment and let me know how you're all doing. Take care now, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.